Hey folks, welcome back to part two of our study on the year 2011 and was it a prophetic year? And I really wanted to do a short video. I was hoping it wouldn't be, well, I'm not gonna say I was hoping, but what I found is pretty, pretty profound. I hope the length does not scare people away in watching this video. I'm going to try to talk as fast as I can. I'm going to try to put out as much information I can and and get this out. There are some amazing signs going on in 2011 and I can't wait to show them to you. So as we know, Joel 2:30, and I will show the wonders in the heavens of the earth, blood and fire and columns of smoke. The sun shall be turned to darkness and the moon into blood before the great and awesome day of the Lord comes. And it shall come to pass that everyone who calls upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Um, so what we're talking about is this triad right here in 2011. We know this is the coming tetrad on Jewish feast days, Passover and Sukkot, with different types of eclipses intermixed, and we have the finale triad at 2018. Like we said, God's time is not really like our time. This is like a blink of an eye to Him, and from 2011 to 2014 might seem like a long time for us, but for someone who created everything in 7 days, this is like a breath. And what we found, and I say we because we're part of a team. If you have suggestions or ideas, please email me. Is that during that tetrad year, we had several news events. We had an Orion sign on December 21st, the winter solstice, which I'm going to pull this actually up because the picture does not do it justice what actually happens here. And so we're going to show the animation of that. And we had the earthquakes. We had several 22nd and 11th events, like of the 11th of the month or the 22nd of the month, and just earthquakes. Japan earthquake, the earthquake in Christchurch in New Zealand, the tornadoes. I mean, just if you haven't seen the previous video, you need to watch it to get the full understanding of what's going on. Alright, with that, what we're going to do is I have found several different signs on each day. Now, remember we looked back here on June 15th and I did not find any news that was relevant, that was really important on June 15th. Well, there's not really a sign in the heavens on this day either. And I'll even pull it up at the very end to show everybody where this actual lunar eclipse occurs. But all these solar eclipses and lunar eclipses all happen in very, very specific, with specific patterns. Um, it was remarkable. My jaw was hitting the floor when I was finding this stuff. So, first thing we're going to do is talk about Orion first. The last time the lunar eclipse happened was on the winter solstice, was in the year 1638. We already discussed this. It was the first recorded astronomical event. Additionally, it was the first recorded earthquake that happened in America. The next one is not till 2094. So just wait till you see this in action. So we're going to get started. I'm going to pull up the program and we're going to put Orion and the lunar eclipse into action. Okay, so here's our moon and here's Orion. I want to say some stuff about Orion. Each one of these constellations has a biblical significance. Very, very, very big significance. And from what I've read, it's no surprise that, I mean, God laid this out because, I mean, there wasn't written scripture back then. There wasn't, they wrote on skins and pots and scrolls, and to have a book or a piece of scripture would be, you had to be a very wealthy person, so God in the beginning of time made this to tell a story. And people studied this. This was like their book. This is what they did at night. This is what they looked at. The shepherds would be out with their flocks, and this is what they would study. It's how they read the paper. Um, anyway, I'm not going to get on a soapbox. Let me stay focused here. But it's very important, these signs, and a lot of people, downplay them because Satan has downplayed them, and you use Taurus for your own personal gain, or Aquarius is age of Aquarius, all this other malarkey. It's God made these, not Satan. These are for reveal His plan, not for Satan to, um, corrupt, like he's corrupted everything else, music, I mean everything. Anyway, okay, so here, let's get started. So December 21st, lunar eclipse Orion. The brightness of his coming is what Orion actually means. Rigel, the star in his right foot, means to crush. the foot that crushes, and that's in reference to Genesis 3:15. He's also known as the Redeemer, crushing the seed of Satan, and Satan as opposed to the star, Syath. So he's got two big stars in his foot. You can't see him here because I didn't zoom in, but one is to crush and one is bruised. And Syath, meaning bruised, I think it's in the left foot, bruised, and the one that's kind of hiked up back there is to crush. And that um, is Rigel. Um, so we know that Jesus is the sufferer. He's going to suffer a bruise, but in the end, he's going to crush Satan, have the final blow. Bellatrix in his shoulder says coming is the star that means coming quickly. Betelgeuse is the coming of the branch, and Orion is the deacon of Taurus, which is right here, the judge, the coming judge. So a lot going on right here. And you're going to see what God did in 2011 is absolutely amazing, the story he tells us. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in, all right, and you're going to be able to see this eclipse happen. And what it does, let me zoom in first, all right. Now this white is man-made artwork, all right. Obviously, it doesn't connect the dots like these stars all connect the dots. This is just man-made artwork. But what you need to pay attention to is the edge of this club here and here. And what's going to happen is the eclipse is going to start on this star and end on this star right here. Now you can't really see them as stars right now because we're so far out, but we could zoom in very close and you would see that those are, two obvious stars. And it's actually going to, when it crosses the ecliptic and bisects this line right here, will start to eclipse and then end its eclipse right here. Let me zoom in closer. Okay. Alright, I'm going to start this very slow and kind of zoom in. There we go. And I'm going to pick it up a little bit. Alright, there it goes. Now watch. Crosses the star and it'll start to change. And when it's in the center, it'll be full red. There it goes. Bam. By the time it reaches here, it should be done. It's going to flip on you. Don't get sick. Alright. And watch, it's going to cross that star back out of the eclipse. Isn't that amazing? It blows my mind. So let's back it up again. Don't get sick on me. Alright. And then back out to normal. Now, I don't have the specific times when it crosses the ecliptic right here or the math or anything, but from what I see, it looks perfect. And I'm sure it is. I'm sure when it bisects these stars, it's actually fully clipped. There it goes. Bam. It just doesn't get any better. Crosses over. There's our two stars there. And as it pulls out, it goes back to normal. Amazing sign, people. Okay, for those that have seen my Revelation videos, you'll know this guy, Sagittarius. This is January 4th, 2011. Okay, this guy is called the Conqueror. Who else is called the Conqueror? Roger that, the Antichrist. Revelation 6, and behold the white horse, and he had sat upon him at a bow. And there's his bow, and a crown was given to him. There's his crown, Corona Australis. And he went forth conquering to conquer. At his side is the deacon, Corona Australis, the crown. The Antichrist rides the pale horse. Here we have a centaur, all right, and that depicts the dual nature of the Antichrist. He will come in on a platform of peace, and he will come out as a ruthless leader, demanding worship. And let's see. The world will be enthralled by the Antichrist. All the stars carry the names of coming beauty and regal dignity of an archer as he goes forth conquering to conquer. For example, Coptic, the star Coptic is the beauty coming forth. The star Neum is the gracious one. Wadrita is he who comes forth, and Nuki is the prince of the earth. And as you know, one beast is from the earth and one beast is from the sea, according to Revelation. I'm not sure what chapter offhand, but pretty interesting sign here on this lunar eclipse. I'm sorry, the solar eclipse. We have Mars actually inside the constellation here, and Mars is the war planet, and the Antichrist will go forward and make war with the saints, and he will conquer the saints. Once again, I don't know the verse, but it's in Revelation as well. And if we look where this eclipse happens, once again, it happens right on a border of a crossing stars, star pattern here. Here we just talked about Nuki, and that is he who comes forth. So, kind of interesting there. And our actual eclipse will happen just across this path right here. It's amazing signs what the Lord has done. Absolutely amazing. Crosses over and goes to our partial eclipse. Right there. And continues out. Let's show that backwards. Pretty amazing. And let's go to our next one. Okay, this one is in Taurus. And usually when something intersects this line right over here, these are considered the horns of the bull, the Hyades. You have Aldebaran, which is the brightest star over here, which forms the eye of the bull. And sometimes you'll hear, hey, the sun's in the eye of the bull today, or whatever. But here's the sun actually in the eye of the bull, and it's going to eclipse in the eye of the bull. And it's followed, by Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Now, Mercury moves in to this position, the eye of the bull, on the 8th of June, in 7 days. 7 days. And the 8th of June happens to be Pentecost, which is a Jewish feast day. And so let me run through what we have here with the bull. So Taurus is the coming judge, also means his glorious coming. The bright star is Aldebaran, which means governor, captain, or leader. The cluster of stars is the Pleiades, which you can barely see right here, the shoulder of the bull. And Taurus, bottom line, is a coming sign for judgment, is used for judgment, day of vengeance of God. Isaiah 61:2, a day of wrath for the unfaithful, but a day of deliverance for his people, for they are not appointed wrath. 1 Thessalonians 5:9. From what I've seen, Taurus has the most spectacular signs, and this one is no different. If you look at my past videos, Taurus has a remarkable sign in the picture of Jesus, which is the Revelation 1 video. Then you have the messenger, and then Venus is the morning star. You might have heard it called that before. Satan is also called the morning star, and that's found in Isaiah 14:12. Satan has fallen, O morning star. Oh, how you have fallen, O star of the morning. Then there's Mars, which is war, and then, of course, the king, Jupiter, which is depicted by Jesus in Revelation 12 sign. So there's just a remarkable sign here. So let's get started. We're going to zoom in, and as you can see on this one as well, they do the eclipse right across the line of the star pattern itself, which is absolutely remarkable. And so that's good enough. I'll back it out. Okay. So here the sun's barely touching um, the line here of the high eights of the horn of the bull. And let's move forward with it. There, that's a little fast. Okay. Sorry, folks. There we go. And there's our eclipse, right in the eye of the bull. Now, it might be a little off, but, this is a $19 program, so, maybe the sun's a little off there, but, I mean, it's right there in the eye of the bull. Show that again. No, freeze it right there. I mean, what an amazing sign. And then we'll do our, here comes Mercury, and it passes through the eye. Right there on the 8th. Becomes Aldebaran's partner as the other eye. Message. Message to the church. That's what that means. Pentecost is the church. When Jesus ascended into heaven and he left his apostles or disciples, the Pentecost age started, the church age. And this Mercury is the messenger planet. To me, that's saying message to the church. Be ready. I'm coming. It's coming soon. And that's how I take it. And then you have the other, Venus, and of course Mars and everything else crosses the ecliptic and intersects here as well. However, I couldn't find any key dates on when this actually happens, or I didn't see anything significant. I'll put it that way. I might be wrong. Maybe this is a message to the church. Satan is coming, but it's message on Pentecost to the church. I know it's probably making you sick. But anyway, there's Venus crossing on roughly the 18th. And yeah, 18th. So, but I didn't see anything significant in the dates. That doesn't mean there's nothing there. It just means I didn't see it. But then you have, so as these cross, the message could be message to the church, Satan is coming, prepare for war, but our Redeemer will follow. 2011, a lot of things happened prophetically. Now Jupiter does hang out here for a while, so it doesn't cross the ecliptic like everybody else does. It actually hangs out right over here for a little while, for days. So, it doesn't cross just yet in the bull. But you can see that sign, I think, clear as day. If nothing else, it's a message to the church. Pentecost Day. I see it as be prepared, I'm coming. These signs are just so remarkable to ignore. But I don't fully understand them. I know they're there. But that's what I want to show you. Maybe somebody out there can help me out. But they're there. Alright, let's go on to the next one. Okay, this one happens in Gemini. Okay, and Gemini is the completed marriage. In Gemini in Hebrew and Arabic and Syriac means completed, such as a long-term, drawn-out engagement plan finally being completed in marriage. A more exact title, therefore, for Gemini could be Gemini, the completed marriage. When the stars are examined, we even found further evidence. This is meant to signify marriage of the church to the Redeemer, Jesus Christ. Just as in marriage, the husband and wife jointly administer their estate, so will the church jointly administer with Jesus, as many parts of the Bible testify. Joint heirs to the kingdom, priests and kings, reign with him forevermore. Um, which I find absolutely amazing. Now, when I found this sign, I initially didn't see anything too strange about it until I went to June 27th. And what happens on June 27th is the message leaves Gemini right there. You see it right up top, right up here. You have Mercury right on the verge um, of the line here. The constellation line, I'll call it. I don't know what the technical term is, but anyway. And you have the sun entering the same time. So it leaves and the sun enters. Now, I don't know if that's significant or if it is how, but if we go to our actual eclipse date, which is the 1st, the sun is well inside Gemini. And we'll show that. We'll put that in animation. Uh-oh. So there's our eclipse. There we go. So here comes our moon. Oh, not so fast, moon. There you go. Alright, it's going to cross there. Source partial solar eclipse. So yeah, like I said, I don't know if what's the significance of that. Maybe somebody's got some ideas. But that's our June 1st eclipse right there inside of Gemini. The marriage. It's great news. Great news. And we go to the 28th again, and there's the sun entering and Mercury leaving right there. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. They're all over, aren't they? This is in Scorpio, and for a long time, I won't say a long time, but a couple of weeks I'd struggled with what Scorpio actually was in the constellations biblically. And I'm working on other projects, doing other things, so I didn't really have a time just to sit down and research it as well. But I found a very, very good explanation for what it is, and I'm going to read it to you. The sufferer, the mortal conflict, the Hebrew name Akrab, which means conflict. The brightest star in the system is Antares, and that's right there. It's like a red star. And that means, actually, if you translate it, Antares to Antares, actually means against Christ. And I was like, okay, well, we already have, you know, the Antichrist, so what could Antares against Christ actually be? And I was like, it made no sense, and well, that's Satan. That's exactly what it is. This is the satanic replication that God put in his storyline. And if you think about it, this actual star, or I'm sorry, if you break it apart, it means Antichrist. The ancient Egyptian Coptic language gives it the name of Istis, which means attack of the enemy. The name of the stars in the constellation indicate that Scorpio represents the evil one in his efforts to destroy the seed of the woman. On my previous video in Revelation 7, I did not put the two and two together and realized that this sign is the sign of Satan. Think about it. Look at all the names: mortal conflict, wounding, attack of the enemy, against Christ. It's pretty obvious that Sagittarius is the Antichrist, but this is the sign of Satan. Then you have then the one who bruises the heel of the seed of the woman. but is crushed by the same seed of the woman by the foot, Jesus Christ. In a physical world, a scorpion can be crushed with one foot, but you can, if not treated with respect, you can get wounded in your foot or heel, and the same is for the same thing for the spiritual world, where the followers of the seed of the woman have been given power over the spiritual enemy, and all his evil plans for them can be crushed. Thus, to the seed of the woman and his followers, the spiritual enemy is indeed of no greater standing than a scorpion, adequately shown in the eternal prophecy to become the devil defeated. So he's going to bruise the heel with the tail, which he did at crucifixion. However, Jesus will have the final blow, and he's simply going to step on him, and that's going to be the end of him. So I was really, when I found that, I was like, yes, that actually makes very, very good sense. So here's our solar eclipse for this sign here, and there's our moon. It doesn't get too close to the sun, but it is a partial solar eclipse right there. And we zoom in closer, and it's actually on a star line as well, right through here. There's our moon, crosses through. There we go. Before I leave this page, I want to make sure everybody has the verse that they understand this sign as Satan. And if you go to Genesis 3:15, it states, "And I will put enmity," and this is God talking to Satan after the sin that corrupted the humanity, and he's dishing out punishment to man, woman. You know, you're going to have pain during childbirth. You're going to have problems toiling the earth, and etc. And it'll bring thistles and thorns and to Satan he says, "And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel." This verse prophesies that Jesus would be bruised by Satan at the crucifixion, thus the tail, and he would rise again and crush the head of Satan and his seed. So, pretty remarkable sign. Alright, this last one is December 10th, and it is in between the horns of the bull. And I didn't see a whole lot here except for a lunar eclipse between the horns of the bull, what it is. You know, there's no planets in trail or you know, the sun. I'm sorry, of course the sun's going to be on the other side, but I didn't see anything else of great significance, but we do have a lunar eclipse inside the horns of the bull, which, you know, these lunar eclipses could happen anywhere, and it seems like everything is perfectly placed where he would want it, and there's probably a reason that we're just not seeing. But here's the animation of it. Start it off here. And it crosses the first horn. Doesn't turn like it did on the club of Orion, but pretty much almost in the center. You know, it is pretty close to the center. So, there's our eclipse, the horns of the bull. Pretty remarkable signs, people. You know, looks right. See, right there, it almost looks dead center. And as it crosses dead center, it goes to eclipse. Pretty interesting. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed these signs. And, you know, you could you could make an excuse for anything, like, oh, this is all, coincidence. But it isn't coincidence when the news, Israel's turmoil, our turmoil, um, and these signs, and the signs that are coming in 14 and 15, the Revelation signs. I mean, this is just way too much, and it's not coincidence at this point. There's just no way it is. Let me close up here for a second. We'll go back to the slides. All right, one more thing in Redshift I wanted to show you. Remember our center moon, and I'll go back to the board so you can remember where we're at. This was the moon eclipse directly in the center where I found no news, June 15th, 2011, or nothing significant news. And it's I guess I'm kind of surprised, but not too surprised. There's just nothing here, really, unless I'm missing something. But this eclipse happens, going right across. Not even, I mean, I can't even really, I mean, it's right there is where it happens. You know, um, this is deep space right here. But, I'm not seeing anything really here. We have, just the moon out there. We have this constellation, which is, they've made a 13th constellation, Ophiuchus, and, he's not part of the 12, and, God's numbers are God's numbers. He has specific numbers for a reason. There's 12 constellations, there's, 7 of this, 7 of that, and everything he does is precise. And if he didn't start with 13 constellations, then there's no reason for us to add a 13th constellation. So I'm wondering if he's saying something about that. I don't know. But I think this is a deacon um, of Libra, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's one of those where you could say, oh, there's nothing really there, Um, but I wanted to show you anyway, so that you saw it for yourself. And let's go back. So we had all this going on, and we investigated each of these signs right here, and we found some remarkable stuff. And we'll go to our signs page. We found Orion on this day, Sagittarius on this day, Taurus on June 1st, June 5th, 10th. We didn't find anything really. If you find something, please shoot me a message or an email. And we ended up going to Gemini here, and here we had Scorpio, and then our lunar eclipse in the eye of the bull right there. I didn't put the other pictures on here just for clutter. Couldn't fit them on. But it doesn't end there, folks. There will be a part 3, and there is something very, very significant. Whoops. That's it right there, actually. But we're not going to go there today. I want to kind of end this video, and I don't want to make these too long. People seem to shy away from the longer videos. So please comment, share it. I hope you liked it. The signs out there, folks, are absolutely amazing. We have star signs, we have moon signs, we have signs on the earth, we have earthquakes, we have sinkholes, we have dead animals dying, or dead animals all over the place. Time is getting very short, and just prepare your hearts, reach out to Jesus, and get ready, because he's coming back. And he's coming back, and we need to be ready for him. So I hope this video touches your heart. I hope you see things, and if you see things differently, please let me know. I'm very willing to listen to anybody who's got ideas or sees things differently. Anyway, God bless, take care, and please watch the next video, probably next 2, on 2011. Thank you very much.